One of the most closely watched and talked about races this election is Florida's race for governor. This morning, Democratic candidate Andrew Gillum rallied young voters at the University of Central Florida and was joined by actor and rapper Common, who took the stage with a freestyle rap.
This is what we doing off the dome. My man Gilliam said he gonna bring it home. So Andrew Gillum, we feel him cause he's all real. We came to build, yo, this is the skill. I came down to Florida, yes, I am an orator. This is my man, yo, he's gonna get the governor. Yo, I'm loving her, common sense, I came to battle her. I told you we shout out, yo, the rattlers. That's how it is, yo, you might just wanna pass me. That's the mayor and the man from Tallahassee.
Joining me now is rapper and actor Common. Thank you for being with us this evening, Common.
Peace, how you doing, Reverend?
I'm doing good. Now, I've known you for years, and people need to know that you are consistently out on social justice issues and issues that's important to you. This is not some drive-by celebrity thing with you. This is part of who you are. Why are the races in Florida and Georgia so important to you that you've come in and not just made a statement, but put yourself in these races to support the candidates you choose?
Well, I feel like Florida and Georgia right now with Andrew Gillum and Stacey Abrams have a chance to create history and change the narrative of our country. You know, so many times we think about Florida as a state that has been divisive in many ways and been divided, and Georgia being a southern state that, you know, always has been not inclusive. And right now we have leaders who are running for governor who really represent all people. Though they're black people, they represent all people, and you could tell each one of them has a characteristic that we want our leaders to have in our country. You know, Florida deserves it, deserves Andrew Gillum, and Georgia deserves Stacey Abrams. It's like you see the humanity, man. That's what we need in our country now.
You come from Chicago, and you've always been true to your roots, but you've been able to also relate to all kinds of people and have fans of all races and all walks of life. What are you hearing from people as you move around the country, because you're one of the few big stars that actually talk to people? What are the concerns of people that makes you feel like this election is so important?
Well, I mean, people want, obviously, opportunities. People want to feel like secure and that they have leadership that will represent things that they have passion and interest for, and a lot of that, some of that is education, which Andrew Gillum and Stacey Abrams are both heavy on. You know, increasing education for all walks of life for all our kids, and then also job opportunities is something. But one of the things that I think is really special about Andrew and Stacey Abrams is their perspective when it comes to criminal justice reform too. And a lot of people don't think about that in our societies. You know, a lot of our leaders, they just throw away those who have been part of the criminal justice system, when really those individuals, the way we look at our individuals that are pushed down is the way our society is deemed, and that's how we act. If we don't look at people who are part of the criminal justice system and see the humanity, then how can we see humanity in others, you know? And I feel like the fact that Andrew Gillum is really trying to make sure that people who have been felons still have an opportunity to vote if they have rehabilitated themselves, and Stacey Abrams has, you know, like really understands that we need some criminal justice reform when it comes to just, you know, how our system has targeted black and brown people for so long. I mean, that's, to me, that's we have to have that in America for us all to get lifted to the right place.
You have a lot of young people that listen to you, and there's been a big increase in terms of millennial and young voters. Those that have not voted, if they're in an early voting state, and the last day of early voting in Florida is tomorrow, or those that can vote on Tuesday, what is the message from Common to a lot of his young fans that would listen to you that will not listen to those of us that are older?
Well, my message to the youth, y'all power is strong, and you all have let your voices be heard in so many different ways, through protests, through social media. But one of the ways to complete that action is to go out and vote. Like so many of the injustices that you see going on, whether it's police killing young people on the streets, or whether it's you not having the opportunity to get the education and the access to education, some of that is just strictly about voting, strictly about getting the right leaders in office that will have those interests at heart. And you got the opportunity right now. Like, I feel like the vote is one of the most important things you can do right now. If you're complaining about what you see Trump and this administration doing, then go out and vote, because you can make a change amongst, on a local, state level right now. And then you can continue to have that change happen. That's the checks and balances that we need for those that are in Washington to go out and make sure we have governors and representatives that represent us as a people. So come on, young people, we need y'all now more than ever. Y'all already didn't show your heart and and the intelligence to do it and the passion. So come on, let's go vote now.
I played you, did a little freestyling for Andrew Gillum this morning. I'm in Miami and other places tomorrow trying to get out people to vote on the last day of voting, no matter who they vote for early voting. You got a little freestyle you can tell me I should do at the churches tomorrow?
Yeah. Just make sure you get it lit, Rev, by just it's the bring it home mentality. Just stay in that space. I know you got it. You got the gift of words, so I know you got it. You got the soul.
I'm an OG of freestyle. You know me, and you know that.
Yeah, well, come on, give me a couple right now.
No. I'll wait till I get to churches in the morning. Thank you, Common, for taking time to stop by. Many thanks.
God bless.
God bless you. Up next, my panel is back. We're just 3 days out, folks. You're watching Politics Nation.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me, or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.